shoot, I said that you claim it. It's that Xbox, spin the block, his legs live. Fast talker, no riddling, moonwalking, selling moon rock just to make dividends. You in traffic with family? That flash make it a portrait. Gun kick back, not grannies from porches. David on the scene, you know that it's scorching. What's the man with king? No response to the saying, advancing the line, advancing the payment. You front the game and shoot, what said that you claim?
You already know the time, told my boys to hold the line. We gon' shoot it out in seconds, leave you posted like a vine. Bow your head down to the king, leave your roses at the shrine. We stay ready for the war, just need the king to drop the sign. Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? This what you wanted. This what you wanted, huh?
Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. And today, your man Mark Cerny jumped out. Said, yo, we got to clean up some stuff. We got guys out here with floppalization. You heard? If you're guilty of floppalization, I want you to hand in your gamer card today. The higher ups at Sony does not validate anything that you've been saying. If you're guilty of floppalization, you should be called to the head of the congregation because you're tearing up the Pony Nation. That's what happens when a bot hops to a spot that they don't know nothing about. The wildest thing is, it's a lot of bots running around guilty of floppalization. Not my word, but my man Mark Cerny, ooh-wee, knows exactly who you are. And obviously, you raised an eyebrow over at Sony. Now, this video is for entertainment purposes only. If your panties get caught in a bunch and you get upset and your heart gets tight and you clench your fists and you grit your teeth talking about, ooh, I hate that king. Well, sit down, you little sucker, because I'm about to do my thing. The gift that keeps on giving. The reason why you haters keep on living. The king is out here and I'm feasting like it's Thanksgiving. Pass me my fork because I'm about to go in. You dudes looking like food to me. And I'm about to eat. Oh, man. You's in trouble today, baby. We about to get this work. Front line. Front line. I want all my soldiers to back it up. Let the king get some room. Because I'm about to cook, baby. I'm about to cook on this one. Y'all gonna share this one out. I'm about to cook.
I can see what they're doing, what he's doing. I can see it, I feel it. He's cooking.
Now, very early on, you had information that came out and dudes was talking about how the PlayStation 5 was this and the PlayStation 5 was that. But let me tell you something. A liar will always do certain things. But don't hear it from me. Let's hear it from some experts so you can get a basis on how we categorize liars.
I'm Dr. Chris Street. I'm a reader in cognitive psychology at the University of Huddersfield. I've always had an interest in how people deceive others. For example, if I were lying to you right now, how would you know? Would you look at my eyes, at my body language? Would you look me up online?
If you want to be able to accurately detect somebody's lies or truths, what you need to do is you need to listen to what they're saying and the way that they say it, not how they're acting. Think about when you are talking to somebody, you meet them for the first time. Now, any good poker player will tell you that it is very easy to control your face. Therefore, facial cues really aren't good cues of whether or not somebody is lying or telling the truth.
Now, facial cues aren't a real indication of when somebody is lying or telling the truth. So you must look deeper into what's going on.
What you should be doing is you should be listening to what people say, the verbal cues, and the way in which they say it, the vocal cues.
Research shows that people telling the truth tend to use a larger vocabulary than liars.
A lie teller, because they're trying to think very hard, they will use probably the same word over and over again over a very short period of time.
Another verbal cue is to look out for the amount of detail in an answer. A truth teller is more likely to provide a lot of information, whereas a liar is more likely to give vague answers, like percentages. All right, so now that we have a fundamental basis on how we categorize liars, I want you guys to be looking out for key words, phrases, pitches, in tone, delivery, and verbalization. You see, as an entertainer, a lot of dudes can say, King, you're not telling the truth. See, but there's a difference between taking the truth and twisting it and using it and playing with it the way that you choose. And then there's deception. Lies. See, when I'm doing things, I'm messing around. This entertainment purposes. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Unless I'm trying to sell you a Volare pillow, and that is absolutely the truth. They will help you game longer, stronger, with greater posture. Head over to Volare. Use code ILP15 to get 15% off at checkout. Iron Lords and Volare have done it again. We want you to hold the line during this holiday season for that gamer that needs our wonderful pillows. This collaboration has brought to you, again, the new, iconic Hold the Line pillow and the much anticipated Advance the Line pillow. With this no red line sale, we definitely are bridging the gap between gamers all across the world. So, this holiday season, come to Volare and tune in to all the fabulous stuff Iron Lords and Volare has for you. These pillows are insane. That's the sponsors for today's video. Now, you have to understand, when somebody is trying to sell you something, they always going to sell you on the good and not the bad. But let's go back in time.
Yo, yeah. I ask you one thing. Do you remember me? I miss you. Yeah.
Hi. Unfortunately, we had to cancel the talk that we had planned for GDC. But we do have some super exciting news about PS5. And who better to bring that to you than the one and only Mark Cerny. Without further ado, over to you, Mark.
Yeah, get out of here, Jim. You know how you do. Leave Mark to clean up your mess. You're the best at running and selling your stocks, but don't even worry about it. Your man at WB did the same thing. I guess he must have looked at your playbook too. Get out while the getting is good and let the rats get off the ship early.
Mark.
Thank you, Jim. There will be lots of chances later on this year to look at the PlayStation 5 games. Today, I want to talk a bit about our goals for the PlayStation 5 hardware and how they influenced the development of the console. I think you all know I'm a big believer in console generations. Once every 5 or 6 or 7 years, a console arrives with substantially new capabilities. There's a lot of learning by the game developers, hopefully not too overwhelming, and soon there's games that could never have been created before. Now, it used to be that as a console designer, you'd somehow intuit what would be the best set of capabilities for the new console, and then build it in complete secrecy. For the PlayStation consoles, that period lasted through PlayStation 3, a powerful and groundbreaking console, but also one that caused quite a lot of heartache, as it was initially difficult to develop games for. So, starting with PlayStation 4, we've taken a different approach, roughly centered around 3 principles.
What did he say? Now, I distinctly remember you using that big 3 thing before. Wait a second. Hold up, my guy. Hold up.
Graphics that the game creators aspire to, at the high frame rates that players typically prefer. To do that, PS5 Pro substantially improves over PlayStation 5 in 3 ways. Here's what we call the Big 3.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So I would like to thank everyone that was involved with this negotiation.
Now that we notice what Mark tries to do, he tries to overload you with the trifecta, the symmetry. See, Marx is a numbers guy, and numerology people tries to form unifications with things. So there's a reason why I do certain things and the reason why numbers matter to me. And there's a reason why I'm able to catch a lot of this stuff. But the best part about this is, I got so many more receipts.
All of that leads to the dream. What if we could have not just an SSD, but a blindingly fast SSD? If we could load 5 gigabytes a second from it, what would change? Now, SSDs are completely different from hard drives. They don't have seeks as such. If you have a 5 gigabyte a second SSD, you can read data from 1,000 different locations in that second, pretty much at speed. As for time to load a gigabyte, this is next gen we're talking about, so memory is bigger. Instead, we should be asking how long to load 2 gigabytes. And the answer is about 1/4 of a second. I mean, that's amazing. We're talking 2 orders of magnitude, meaning very roughly 100 times faster. Which means at 5 gigabytes a second for the SSD, the potential is that the game boots in a second. There are no load screens. The game just fades down while loading a half dozen gigabytes and fades back up again. Same for a reload. You're immediately back in the action after you die. And fast travel becomes so fast it's blink and you miss it. As game creators, we go from trying to distract the player from how long fast travel is taking, like those Spider-Man subway rides, to being so blindingly fast that we might even have to slow that transition down. Pretty cool, right?
A few moments later.
I guess we're going to find out who's actually the fastest, what's actually the best, who actually had the better decision when they were going for their SSD solution, who overspent in the budget. Come on, dog. Come on, man. Not like this, man. Come on, man. Don't do me bad like this, man. Pony Nation looking sick. To my guts. Now, it seems like somebody was telling some untruths, or somebody was trying to get their budget allocated to a throughput in an SSD that didn't live up to whatever was going on, because they understood quick resume and the SSD on the Xbox was a whole lot more robust. I'm just saying.
Hi, I'm Mark Cerny. Today I'd like to do a deep dive into the technology behind our latest console, PlayStation 5 Pro. Now, to be clear, this is a bits and bytes talk with no game footage at all.
Oh, I get it. You learned from the last time when you showed game footage and nobody saw any difference. I get it. So no game footage this time, right?
Principally, I'll be explaining what we put into the PlayStation 5 Pro GPU and why. Historically, every 7 or so years, there's enough interesting technological advances that we release a new generation of console, like PS3 or PS4 or 5. These introduce broad improvements like a more powerful CPU and GPU, and also significant new capabilities like compute shaders on PS4 or the SSD and 3D audio on PS5. Games can then be created with the whole console feature set in mind. It allows for a tremendous step up in what the player experiences. It does take a certain amount of time for game creators to get up to speed with that new console. But we're all prepared for that because the benefits of moving to that new generation are so high. Recently, there have also been console releases during a generation, like PS4 Pro and now PS5 Pro. These are much more tightly focused, typically on the GPU. And what developers are making are improved versions of games, never dedicated games. So targets for Pro consoles are very different. First, the work that needs to be done by the game creators for the Pro console needs to be kept to an absolute minimum. They already have a lot of pieces of hardware they're supporting. We don't want to add much to that burden.
So you mean to tell me that the PlayStation 5 Pro is a scam and you didn't add much to it, so the other people that are looking to see if they're going to invest, they really won't see anything because you didn't want to add any workload to the developer. I got it.
And second, those tightly focused improvements need to be pretty significant. The games have to play noticeably better. One of the trickier aspects of console design is that creating a console is roughly a 4-year journey. In order to launch PS5 Pro in 2024, we were actually trying to work out the key feature set in 2020. In other words, at a time before PlayStation 5 had even been released. And of course...
So you were figuring out how to scam the PlayStation owner because you couldn't have Microsoft be out before you, so you put out a half-baked, unstable machine ahead of time while working on the Pro in the background, the machine that you really wanted to make, not the base. Oh, I get it.
And of course, what we came up with was the set of improvements we've been calling the Big Three. First...
Oh, here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.
Now, to do all that, we needed a larger and more capable GPU. This is what we used on the original PS5. It's a GPU from our partner AMD. More specifically, it's an RDNA 2 GPU, meaning that it used the second generation of AMD's RDNA 2 technology. The GPU has subunits called workgroup processors, or WGPs. PlayStation 5 has 18 of them. The GPU on PS5 Pro is much larger. It has 30 workgroup processors. It's also what I'm calling a hybrid RDNA GPU, which is to say, it combines multiple generations of RDNA technology. The base technology for PS5 Pro is somewhere between RDNA 2 and RDNA 3. I'm calling it RDNA 2.x.
So now we just making shit up. So now you're just making it up. So now this is RDNA 2.x. It got a sprinkle of mystery with a little bit of, I don't know what the hell. But it damn sure ain't RDNA 3. But it's RDNA 2-X. You know, just a little splice of what might happen later.
As I'll shortly explain, that choice makes it much easier for game developers to port their games to the new console. Ray tracing uses what I'm calling future RDNA technology. It's roadmap RDNA that's well past the feature set today. It's showing up here first. And machine learning is custom, or to be more specific, it's custom enhancements to RDNA. And just to be clear, I may say machine learning or ML or AI today. These are just different words for the same topics. Now,
you can't make this up because none of this was explained to people in the beginning. Had they said it, they wouldn't have sold not one unit. But wait, I ain't finished cooking, God. Sit back and enjoy this wonderful meal. For all my Xbox fans, I want you to sit back. And then I got something special for you Xbox dude to understand what a stable machine actually is without this BS that you're hearing.
AMD is continuously updating the GPU technology. RDNA 3 has more functionality and is more performant than RDNA 2. There's even a chance to bring in future RDNA technologies like we did with ray tracing. If we're making a new generation of console, of course we want the latest and greatest. But with a mid-generation release like PS5 Pro, we also have to consider that a single game package needs to support both PS5 and PS5 Pro. That limited the degree to which we could adopt RDNA 3 technologies. For example, games have something called shader programs that execute on the GPU. A game might have over 100,000 of them. If we adopted RDNA 3 technologies to the extent that code compiled to run on PS5 Pro wouldn't run on PS5, that would mean creating two versions of each executable piece of code. One for PS5, another for PS5 Pro.
So when the idiots was running out here talking about is RDNA 3 or RDNA 4, it isn't. It's RDNA 2 with a dash of BS thrown on top, because they didn't want to make two versions of the same game. They didn't want to have to go the extra mile. The reason why Xbox said no mid-gen refresh makes 0 sense. You don't see any benefits. But continue, because, man, I'm about to cook you.
That's a massive complication. The game package needs to be patched to include that second version, and then the game needs to either selectively load just the appropriate version or find room for both versions in system memory. It's a big burden for the developers. Consequently, PS5 Pro uses a version of RDNA that I'm calling RDNA 2.x, which is bringing in a number of features from RDNA 3, but not anything that would cause that degree of complications.
In other words, some made up shit. Okay? I just want you to be clear on what's going on. In other words, it's RDNA 2 with salt on it, or ketchup, whatever you like, mustard, for you mustard hearts.
For example, aspects of vertex and primitive processing are faster on PS5 Pro. That's from bringing in parts of the geometry pipe from RDNA 3 that are powerful, but either trivial for the game to adopt, or better yet, invisible to the game program. One thing I'd like to clear up is the erroneous 33.5 teraflop number that's been circulating for PS5 Pro. That number isn't anywhere in our developer docs. It comes from a misunderstanding by someone commenting on leaked PS5 Pro technical information.
All right. You're gonna learn today.
This is the part in the video when I grab you by your head and say, I told you, man. Stop playing with me. With your made up flops and your made up numbers and your skippity scapping and all your lying and deceiving and taking people and making them believe false narratives, bro. When I was trying to tell you guys the truth, but you like, nah, King ain't right. He ain't 98% right. I am 98% right all the time. Why? Because it's the truth, man. But you'll rather sit here and listen to these grifting, lying ass dudes. These dudes that was once playing games on this side, but now they're playing games on that side, trying to get your money from that side. Bro, I've always been this. I ain't playing no games. But I'm here to do the exposing. See, because what goes on in the dark will come out to the light. You cannot hide, because the night will turn into the day, and I will shine all over you. I knew the information had to come out, so I got to do you this way. Oh, I got to do you this way.
Part of the confusion comes from RDNA 3 architectures having double the flops of RDNA 2 architectures. Now, to quote Digital Foundry on this topic, it's a nice little bonus to have twice the flops, but it doesn't do anything like double real-world performance. So there's a certain amount of flopflation going on here. We did not bring in the doubled floating point math from RDNA 3 because achieving that bonus in performance would require a recompile for PS5 Pro. And as I said, having two versions of each compiled piece of code would create more work than we're comfortable asking the developers to do.
Now ask yourself, are you guilty of flopflation? Ask yourself, are you guilty of flopflation? Was you running around here talking about that 36 teraflops? Are you guilty of flopflation, man? Has flopflation infested your soul? Was you caught up with the 4090 flopflation crap? Did you make videos talking about the PlayStation 5 Pro is as strong as a PlayStation, as a 4090 NVIDIA 4090? Or maybe you was running around here with the flopflation teraflops. You are the problem. You are the one. Let's get it. Clip this, boy. Clip this.
Here, then, are the correct stats for PS5 Pro. It's pretty simple. PS5 Pro has 30 workgroup processors, which is 67% more than PS5 has. So the flops should be 67% higher as well. If we assume a pretty common operating frequency of 2.17 gigahertz, the math works out to 16.7 teraflops on PS5 Pro. Of course, teraflop numbers are pretty meaningless.
He said your teraflops are meaningless. All that capping you did. All that. All that capping you did was for nothing. Your teraflops by the man who made the machine told you it's meaningless. You stupid ponies. Meaningless. You're meaningless. Your arguments are meaningless. You're meaningless. He took away your sword and your shield. He slapped you in your face and told you upgraded to get flops, and it's meaningless.
What isn't meaningless is the performance of the PS5 Pro GPU. 67% more workgroup processors means that we can create synthetic tests that show 67% faster processing. In practice, though, there are a lot of factors involved, such as memory bandwidth or even how a particular game engine responds to the details of the new architecture. So a game team might be looking for something more like a 45% increase in rendering speed. That's still a huge improvement, though. At that performance, it means that if a game is running at 60 FPS and is taking 16 milliseconds to render on PS5, then that same frame could be rendered in 11 milliseconds on PS5 Pro. That leaves...
It means nothing. He said, yo, you heard what he said. He said you could theoretically, because synthetically, we've been making things. I told you, when you listen to somebody lie, you gotta listen to it. This has been the best. This has been the absolute best. This has been the best. Christmas is next week for you guys to celebrate it. Either you got a lump of coal or you got the gift that keeps on giving. I ain't gonna stop banging till y'all become an app. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. We're gonna run it up on you bumps. Bow! You just got knocked the fuck out, man. This is by far the greatest gift that keeps on giving. You guys, this is comedy gold. Oh.
No. No. She wasn't ready. She wasn't ready.
Okay, and for my Xbox heads, I'm gonna give you a little something really quickly before we get up out of here. So we can style on these dudes, man, because right now, man, how we moving on these dudes, they're impeccable, unconquerable. Lord King David is up in the building. And I told you, I got the Death Note. If y'all think I'm joking, if you think I'm playing around, I'm going to start showing y'all what I got on these pages. But I got the Death Note, and I'm the one that's been making this happen to you. I've been doing this to you. God bless. baby.
CPU side of the equation, where we have a ton of new information. As expected, we're getting 8 CPU cores and 16 threads delivered via 2 quad-core units on the silicon, with 1 CPU core, or 2 threads, reserved for running the underlying operating system and the shell, the front end. Microsoft is promising a 4 times improvement in both single core and overall throughput compared to Xbox One X. And CPU speeds are impressive, with a peak 3.8 GHz frequency. Now this is when SMT or hyperthreading is disabled. Curiously, developers can run with 8 physical cores at the higher clock, or all cores and threads can be enabled with a lower 3.6 GHz frequency. Those clocks are completely locked and won't adjust according to load or thermal conditions. A point that, curiously, Microsoft emphasized several times across our visit. So this is the first big surprise. In our PC-based tests, SMT enabled delivers anything up to 30% or more of additional performance in well-threaded applications, and that includes games. However, for launch titles at least, Microsoft expects developers to opt for the higher 3.8 GHz mode with SMT disabled, simply because console game engines for the current generation are designed for 7 cores and 7 worker threads. With SMT off, those engines can map directly onto the same 7 cores with Series X, but with a huge performance boost. But it's graphics power that tends to be the focus of any console spec, and we finally know how. Microsoft is delivering its 12.155 teraflops, 3,328 shaders allocated to 52 compute units, operate at a sustained, locked 1825 MHz. There are actually 56 CUs on the silicon, but 4 are deactivated to allow for imperfect chips from the production line to make it into retail consoles. So yeah, Microsoft actually seemed very keen once again to stress that all clocks in all areas are locked. There's no boost clock or anything like that. The firm believes that a core tenet of the console experience is consistent level performance on every box out there. PC GPUs can throttle back depending on thermal conditions, but the point is that Series X won't.
Series X and S was made as stable boxes from the ground up. No leveraging CPU power against GPU power, nothing but a stable box. In and out. A tower of power delivered to you, the Xbox gamer. 12.5 teraflops of stable compute units and stable power with a faster SSD than that pisser and all that other crap that they got in the PlayStation 5, and they need a Pro to catch up to where we were. But Mark Cerny said none of that stuff mattered because they just wanted y'all to spend money.
The RDNA 2 architecture used in Series X does not have tensor core equivalents, but Microsoft and AMD have come up with a novel, efficient solution based on the standard shaders. With over 12 teraflops of FP32 compute, RDNA also allows for double that with FP16. Yes, rapid packed math is back. However, machine learning workloads often use much lower precision than that. So the RDNA 2 shaders were adapted still further to support 8-bit and 4-bit integer, meaning that AI-based workloads are accelerated to a certain extent and are very much on the table with Series X. However, the big innovation is clearly the addition of hardware-accelerated ray tracing. Now, this is hugely exciting, and at Digital Foundry we've been tracking the evolution of this new technology via the DXR and Vulkan-powered games we've seen running on NVIDIA's RTX cards.
So you mean to tell me I could have been walking around here talking about they got 97 teraflops a long time ago? I could have been saying all that crap, but you see what I don't do? I don't do your stupidness, because none of that stupidness matters, right? But again, y'all want to keep on sitting there telling, I'm giving misinformation. I'm giving factual information. If I got to dig deep, I'm going to shoot off these shots, man, and somebody going to get hurt. Why'd you make me do this to you, man? Why'd you make me do this to you? Look what you made me do to you.
Bro, Cuz was a fucking... Bro, he was dead, bro. If he wanted you out of there, he'll go do it himself on feet by himself. He was dead.
Now, enough said, man. I done came what I came to do, man. I'm the undisputed heavyweight champion of this here, man. If you don't respect me, man, you're gonna learn to respect me, man. Hey, boy. put hands on you. I put trademarks all across your eyes. Boy, don't come for the king unless I send for you. And if you take a shot, you best not miss. Release the dogs on you. Now, if you found anything in this video that you like, please like, follow, and subscribe. And understand I drop content daily. Daily content go up. You understand? Like these hands, they go up. It's entertainment purposes only. For those people that was offended, good for your ass. Good. Be offended. And for those people that found some type of entertainment in this, God bless and have a blessed day. But I'm going to take that logo and I'm going to throw it around your feelings. Because it's hurt. And I'm going to tell you, like I tell y'all all the time, try to play the Game Pass. Got your ass. Shot fired, man down. Share it out. It's going down. Keep your hands up off my crown. Shots fired, man down.